Absolutely. One of the things that is so interesting is one of the questions that Kenji has put down here, greatest obstacles overcome and greatest achievements and so forth. Guys, thank you for coming. I understand that completely. One of the things that we're working on, and I'll answer your question by way of a project that I'm working on and that you mentioned, is a show that we are starting, that we're actually in the process of doing the pilot for now, and it's called The Second Act. And what The Second Act is about is I specialize really in women. No longer do we call it, and I would tell them, no longer do we call it baby boomers, we call them women in the second act. I remember once I was teasing my parents, and I said something like, oh, you old people are so funny. And they said, old people, what are you talking about? I said, we are proud senior citizens, and we would appreciate if you would call us senior citizens and not old people. I said, okay, I'm sorry, senior citizens, all right, you're sensitive to that. Well, see, I didn't become sensitive to that until one day, and I will be 53 this year. 40 is young. Okay, so I was at the doctor, and I was only 41 or 2. And the doctor was talking to me. He said something like, well, middle-aged women like yourself need to. And I was looking at him like, you can't be possibly talking to me. Wait a minute, middle-aged? I'm only 41 years old. Now I guess I'm really middle-aged at almost 53. And so part of what I do that I find so exciting is that I love to work with women in what we call the second act. You're talking about your next act, your second act, women over 40. And it's because someone told me once that we live so much longer now that we can have all kinds of acts and careers. You can do something for 10 years, then do something else for another 10 years, then do something else for 20 years. We live a lot longer now, we're healthier, and we have many more opportunities, and so that's why when we say the second act, there are opportunities for us. I think about my mother, who of course is now a widow. She's basically in her third act. She was a young mother with children, and then she was a wife, empty nester and so forth, and now that my father has passed, she's in her third act because she's by herself, and she has to reinvent herself. And that is something that's so important for all of us, no matter what age we're in, but especially women in the second act. We get to a point that we have to reinvent them ourselves. We have to say, okay, this is what I did now and before, but I'm not who I used to be. I'm at a new phase of life, and I have something called the Declaration of Reinvention that I came up with myself, almost like the Declaration of Independence. Our forefathers did this and this. But my declaration of one of my things, and I just list things, and I said that just because, one of my declarations is that just because I am an empty nester, since my kids are all gone, and that had just happened last June, empty nester, I will not, something like, just because I'm an empty nester, I will not feel that I am lonely and alone, or something like that, that I can find things to do and still feel vibrant and necessary and motivated and so forth. And I think that everybody needs to do that. We need to reevaluate. I remember I heard Maria Shriver said once that we always ask ourselves when we're little, we ask little kids, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Who do you want to be when you grow up? She said that everybody should ask themselves that periodically. Okay, just because I'm 30, 20, 18, 35, 52, 40, you still need to ask yourself, now what? Now what do I want to do? I've done that, I loved it, it was wonderful, but that's not all there is to me as a person. There's so much more that I have to offer. There's so many more talents, gifts, skills that I have that I can give away. Remember I said we give these talents away, that I can help enrich and enlighten someone else and help them move to the next level.
This production has been brought to you by Image Entertainment in partnership with New Journal and Guide. Subscribe today.